Well, we just finished episode 2, Attack of the Clones. It is still by far the worst one. It's, in fact, I think every time I've watched it, it is getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
High points.
Yeah, let's go to get the good stuff out.
Yeah, the good stuff, I think y'all would agree. The only thing that sticks out of my mind is that little bit of a Django fight between Obi-Wan and the Rain. Maybe a little bit. Even it's not perfect, you know.
So a 2-minute scene.
You still have to see Boba Fett's face.
I like the little
Adam, comment on Boba
space
Fett.
bombs.
Comment on Boba Fett.
Boba or Django?
Both, anything they did with all that.
But I hate that little fucking kid. That little bug, he's a little son of a bitch. He's looking all tough town in the corner all the time, just mean mugging the whole time. Yeah.
Well, he gets his though, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right, he does.
He falls into a giant sand anus.
3 times. He does it 3 times.
And I feel like since you bring it up, I think
he's done it.
this is possibly the most troll-worthy of all the change. Even though it's an original, it's not like you go back and watch the original movies and they've made changes, they've inserted things. But with this, between changing Boba Fett's, the whole Django storyline, what else did they change to make it worse?
The fact that, that Yoda has to use a lightsaber and brandish it and flip around all over the damn universe
was dumb as shit.
Ruined the character of Yoda.
Yeah, and I remember at the time in theaters, it was easy I remember people cheering because you see Yoda show up, but you don't know he's getting ready to turn into Kermit the Frog. He's getting ready to
Oh
hop
no, they
around.
cheered when he got that lightsaber out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it does I agree, it does it's another wasted opportunity. And you see it set up at the beginning when he's first coming out. He's just using the Force, period. Reflective of the only thing
Not good enough. Not good enough.
Not good enough.
This one had less accidental save the day moments than the first one.
Yeah, there wasn't quite as much.
I guess to some degree. I
kooky.
mean, you went there on that conveyor belt. There was some random shit.
Sure,
Would
but they
you
were
say-
accidentally.
What do you guys, each of you, what do you feel like is the worst sequence or moment in the
The
movie?
worst sequence for me is definitely the robot manufacturing sequence.
That's bad.
Because you could literally cut that out of the movie and it would not change anything.
There's about 6 or 7 scenes in this one that you could eliminate that wouldn't change anything. There's so many. You know how when you have a Marvel film or something, I remember people complaining about the new Fantastic Four. They're like, it only has 1.5 action scenes in it, and to me, to have a quota of scenes that have to be action or have to be chase scenes is what makes action cinema lesser than most cinema in general, because you have to add in something. You have to alter your story to get this. And that's what this movie is full of shit that didn't need to happen. It doesn't move the story forward.
It's kind of going back to what I said about the whole roller coaster ride thing.
Exactly.
You start feeling, that ride didn't have
They
enough
call
turns
it action
in it.
sequences.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous.
Or the love storyline.
Oh, God.
Having it's like you get what they're trying to do. It's like, okay, you have to show why they're getting married,
But they don't.
But it's like you that's
don't buy
so
it.
cringeworthy.
He
It's so
has
bad.
no redeeming qualities that would be appealing to
I
anyone.
can totally see someone re-editing those scenes to make them even way more obvious the way they felt, because this is the first time I ever really noticed how he's saying all that stuff to her by the fireplace, and she's just like, okay.
Yeah. She looks visibly uncomfortable.
I want to get away from this a
It would
little
have been
bit.
much better if it didn't get married and she had a pity fuck with him, and that's how the child was conceived.
Yeah. That is right.
And then Obi-Wan and her hook up in the 3rd movie, and he can't take it, and that's when he just goes to Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
I think in general, you look at Darth Vader as a character, and then you think about Anakin in these movies, and it's like, how is that even the same person? There's nothing about
there's
him.
such a disconnect there.
That's the biggest issue. And I think the biggest complaint about this entire film is, even more than the first one, it was the worst written movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad. I know his dialogue is known for being bad, but this one was nobody told him a thing.
You're absolutely right though when you made that point. Think about Anakin.
Yeah.
and then think about Vader.
Nothing.
That's not the same person.
That'll be
No.
the toughest transition watching the end of 3.
Yep.
The first
Yeah.
new one is.
Well, I
It is,
remember
that makes sense.
that's
And
what
all
I'm
of a sudden
saying.
the suit pops up. You're like, I'm supposed to buy that. That's who's in the suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That whiny
this
little snot.
weenie motherfucker.
If he'd been some badass, passionate guy that was full of like character and charisma,
Right.
sure.
I've always felt like Vader was the kind of character that he was like. He was a person, and he got whooped, and he didn't get in that suit immediately. Like over time, he built that suit to create the evil, and he had to stew in his hatred for years to become that evil. And then in the third one, he comes out and says, "No, I'm instantly Darth Vader." It just doesn't make any damn sense. Why the fuck would he put a cape on? You know?
Yeah.
It's like I always imagined him being like getting sicker and getting sicker.
Years of torment.
And
people
he
making
keeps
fun of
building
him,
this
yeah.
suit, and they keep putting the things on
Well,
him so that he can
His
survive.
pain intensifies, so he keeps
Exactly.
having to amp up his pain meds.
Right,
And he's just
yeah.
like,
and then just, we're
Well,
getting
that,
ahead
in
of
fact, you already
ourselves,
said
but-
it before. It's like, it's also a missed opportunity. The fact that they should have had him already as a teenager in the first one, had him probably become.
He should.
Vader
The
in
second
this
one's supposed to
movie.
be the darkest one.
Yeah.
This should have been the one. He should have fallen in love with her in the first one, and then in this
It was a
one,
tragedy.
the
sort of,
second
like-
one, he should have killed her ass. And those kids should have been gone off and hid. That could have been a whole plot point of the third one.
Yeah.
That we have to find a place to put these kids. Instead, no. We're gonna cram it into this, and that's the thing. This next one's long as shit.
And
This
it feels like they still don't have enough time.
This is the longest one of the
Yeah,
prequels.
we got to catch up. We
And
got to
they
make a
wasted
connection.
so much fucking time in the first two.
Oh, they waste the beginning of this one with some big battle to go kill Dooku.
Yeah.
mhm.
Well,
All we can do is flips. Well, let's talk about, because we were discussing this, I think, off camera, the fact that at the time we were younger, we were so hyped about these movies, and it still had a chance to fix itself, to redeem itself.
Yeah.
So we see episode 1 and we're like,
It's
oh, that's
still
kind of
real,
weak that he's a
damn
kid. He's like, that's kind of weak that Anakin's a little kid, but when he becomes a teenager,
He's gonna
it turns
become a
around.
bigger puss.
get serious.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't
you were-
imagine when he became older, he was going to be even more puss than
I
the kid.
couldn't-
Yeah.
I remember watching this in the theater and I couldn't believe how bad he acted.
I couldn't either. I mean, even though I know that I was in denial all the way to the third movie. But I remember, and I said it to you guys before, in the theaters, in front of that fireplace scene, I was like cringing. I was like, this is not, I don't believe this at all. Like,
I know.
how are they supposed to have a kid, let alone get married and everything else? And
There's no reason for
the
them
one
to
thing
get
I
married.
want to
I'm
talk
gonna sneak
about a
that
little
into
bit
your
is
wedding.
what
That's gonna be
the
a vow.
idea of this one, and I think even though the third movie is digital, I feel like what we're going to see is that there's a little bit of a separation in terms of aesthetic, trying to catch it up to being more old. Like
That was
you
the
know.
problem. They had to play catch up.
Right, exactly. But this movie, I know it's all digital, but it goes way beyond that. I mean, I use the Stormtroopers as a perfect example. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. If
No.
you're going to take the time to green screen actors and yet you can't, you know how many fans could show up as a Stormtrooper? Like, they would probably do it for free. You wouldn't even have to pay for it.
No, we can pay. I have all these employees that work over here, and I can pay them to make the stormtroopers.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing
You could
to
build
me.
20th
In fact, that
Century
says something like,
for it and
can you
payments.
imagine, with all the fanfare, all the ways in which Star Wars fans for years have been dedicated to something they love, can you imagine if they had tapped into that and just allowed people to come on there and say, just use the Stormtroopers as a perfect example? But no, we're going to have
It had to be different.
everything had to be CG, and I'm like, I mean, those scenes where they're walking down the hallway and Yoda's floating on that little thing, I mean, everything was CG
Yep.
except for Samuel Jackson. And
No, he would stay CG'd in, probably.
Yeah, probably.
One
Yeah.
of the biggest things I've always had a problem with, and Brandon and I talked a little bit about it, is the fact that, the time gap between this one and then the original trilogy, like, things go south and all the technology kind of gets into disrepair and looks worn, but it doesn't make sense because in this you have, like, all the Stormtrooper outfits and the early Star Destroyers and things like that. but they look entirely different.
Right.
It's not that they look exactly the same and then they get older and more worn down. So somewhere they have to make all new shit
Yeah.
in the interim period, and then that has to get degraded.
I mean,
it makes no sense.
has Lucas like gone back on the whole idea? I mean, are the stormtroopers supposed to be clone troopers?
Yeah, has that ever been clarified?
Yeah, I don't
think
know.
so. I think they're
I-
just enlisted guys in the fourth, fifth, and sixth film.
Oh, okay.
And I'd
So they
say,
have their own outfit.
like Adam was saying, I think by far the most unrealistic was the cloning facility. I mean,
No, that when they had that little round table with Dooku and there were aliens at the table, there was some of the worst looking CG aliens I have ever
I like that.
seen.
I like that all robot looking.
Yeah,
That robot looked cool, but he still didn't look real.
No,
yeah,
not at all.
And
but
you
he
made a
looked
good
cool.
point about even the diner scene, which I didn't even know. was
That's
in
the
movie.
worst.
Sticks or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, like how
Walter
that.
Matthau
I think it
works
makes me
in a
think
diner.
of. It makes me think of. Like look at that new shot they showed from the new movie where the girl is sort of sitting on this guy that looks like another Jabba
Right.
kind of character.
Yeah.
He looks identical, like to a character that you see in that one scene. Like, why couldn't they have put a guy in the suit if he's only gonna sit at the table?
He's a human-like character. You don't have to CG it. Same
Yeah.
with the, stormtroopers. I mean, they are people. They are humans with armor on.
Computers. Computers are the future. All actors will be computerized in George Lucas's future. Hayden Christensen is the first of his kind.
Well, it will be interesting to see how we're already getting a glimpse at the practical
Interesting is-
creatures with the new movies that they're clearly going to have in the new film, and seeing the mix of it back and forth. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like 75%, 80% of it is practical.
It reminds me of the Onion article that's like, the Disney factory has created their first human-like person named Zac Efron. And they're like, when we look at the eyes, we see we got it wrong, but we're moving forward.
We're advancing in this
Yeah.
technology. Well, overall, that movie is horrible.
Glad it's gone.
I'm glad we're through it. Overall, as far as the experience, I'm finding a lot of laughter about them, but I'm very tired.
Yeah, I want to go sleep.
I'm so tired right now, and I don't.
Where do you think we'd be right now if we had, based off prior? We've been like
We'd be on like a third or
thirds.
Yeah, we'd be on like third.
Basically, you're getting 2 for every 3.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just wrap this up real quick, get into the third one, and hopefully we can get
Brandon's
a
hungry.
I'm about ready to eat too.
yeah we'll get some
Well, it is
food and get an energy boost and
Yeah, get a boost, get some food in our system's been sitting around.
yeah I don't know about y'all, but I'm worn out from sitting in that chair. I need to sit in this chair.
That
to
one will put you to
relax.
sleep, better be careful. That's a Connor's chair right there.
Well,
Yeah, I might need to
He could fall asleep
rotate.
in an Iron Maiden.
Is it too late to add the Ewok movies?
How long did it take?
Why are you always doing this, Dustin?
Before he
Last time he was like,
text
I'm
the shit
with
off.
Friday, remember with
I've
Friday?
never
He was
seen
like, I could
that.
watch like the new.
I could watch all of them all
Yeah.
the way to
I wanna watch Freddy vs.
Jason. All right, Revenge of the Sith.
The exciting thing
come.
about this, I haven't seen this one in 10 years, since theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
I haven't seen this one since I was just a
Never saw
R2 in a trash can.
Never saw it in theater. Saw it downloaded. Saw it illegally.
Oh, you're in for
My
a
first
great
illegal
viewing
viewing.
experience.
That was your first illegal viewing?
No, the first time I ever saw it, and the only time I ever saw it. Was
Oh.
downloaded.
This is his first legal viewing.
Brandon's first illegal viewing of something was probably in like 1994. He downloaded a movie.
Faces of Death.
Yeah.
I'll walk like episode 1.
That was your Tracy voice.
Got it from Johnny.
What's wrong, Annie?
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.